I believe we need to grow our food where we live. We can do this with home food production and with organic agriculture for local supply. We make our communities more self-reliant, and we avoid the huge energy cost and pollution of the long-distance industrial food system that supplies our supermarkets. This is an immediate way to reduce the carbon emissions that are changing the climate. It is an important step in adapting to energy descent caused by peak oil. We need to make better use of current sunlight energy, solar power. Trees and other plants are our fundamental solar converters. We've been developing this property on the edge of Violet Town since 1996 with a range of tree crops for local use. The 8 hectares were laid out along landscape lines and by land uses into 4 areas, all sheltered by forestry and fodder plantings. These shelter plantings provide valuable habitat for integrated pest management. I am working with the life in the soil, and I depend on all the birds, insects, frogs and lizards that contribute their free ecological services. This place is an example of the design and development work that I do, and is a practical example for permaculture teaching. I have used external and fossil fuel inputs to set up a system that, once established, will be able to function and yield on current sunlight. The mixed species fruit and nut orchard of more than 200 trees provides harvest for most of the year. The orchard area is the most valuable and water dependent of the tree crop areas. In drought years, any available irrigation water has to be used for the fruit orchard, so some drought-hardy tree crops have been planted. We press the fruit from the olive grove for olive oil and process some for table olives. These trees appreciate receiving irrigation water when it is available, but will survive and give a crop without irrigation. When water is short, the low irrigation tree crop area is the first that I stop irrigating. The first pine nuts from the stone pine are only a few years away. Australian native bunya pines are an ancient food crop which have handled the recent dry years very well. I recreated a seasonal wetland on the floodplain. It is now a wooded grassland, providing late season pasture, high quality saw logs and biodiverse habitat. Floodwater is held in our Turkey Nest Dam and is used to irrigate the orchards and vegetable garden. Being immediately downstream of the town, this property is ideally placed to capture town stormwater runoff and use that water to grow food for the community. For me, this property is home for my family and a big part of our food supply. At present, as well as the fruit, nuts, olive oil and vegetables, we milk dairy goats, have eggs and meat from the chickens that range in the orchard, and collect honey from our bees. This property was designed for closer settlement. It will become a permaculture community subdivision, part of our small rural community. Within the orchard areas are spaces that have been kept free for future home sites. The existing farm building serves as the farm centre, providing a large space for gatherings, food processing and guest accommodation. A lot of the necessary water infrastructure is already in place for the future home sites. Oh, I don't think I want it. Since this farm has a number of integrated systems, they help each other, so the summer pruned foliage goes straight to goat feed, and the goats love it. They love the diversity of feed, and I get a better yield. I get a second yield out of my fruit trees. I get milk from fruit trees. How's that? what is laid out here is the skeleton, the groundwork for what can become a highly productive integration of living space with agriculture. If there's people living here, then this orchard becomes the front yard, and the rows just draw you into the orchard. And I see that this orchard will really appreciate more people here managing it more closely, more kids climbing the trees, picking the fruit. There's space within the orchard for a lot more trees. Maybe people will keep more goats, maybe there'll be no mowing. We'll have a scaled up small commercial goat dairy running here, doing all of the mowing and turning all of the grass into a resource for milk. The beekeeping can be scaled up. Free-range chickens could be scaled up to small commercial. As the olive grove matures, it's becoming small commercial. There could be 2,500 litres of olive oil a year coming out of the olive grove. And this is not all just for me, I'm happy to share this head start with other people that want to come and live here. I love it when the kids are playing and picking fruit, and they bring their friends over and the friends walk around and have a bit of fruit here, a bit of fruit there, and they say, oh, this is paradise, this place. And when I hear that, I think, well, good on you, kid, that's a good attitude. I'm glad you're enjoying it. I'm glad they're not pestering me to take them to the movies or something for an ice cream. Which they do.